Welcome back, everybody. Today we are on day 3 of our 30-day journey to good success. If you haven't picked up your copy already, you can go to Amazon and you can find the 30-day to good success journey, or you can go to our website and actually pick one up. But we are going through this day by day, and I'm hoping that you are already kind of learning some things about yourself. And we've talked about purpose, we've talked about what's holding you back, and today is a really great exercise. It's one of my favorite exercises of this entire book, and it's something that we ought to do in our business. And I believe more importantly than doing this in your business, though, I believe it's very important to have a set of core values or a set of guiding principles for your personal life. So for me personally, I have 2 sets, and they're very similar to each other. But here we go. Question number 3 right here. Question number 3 is, what are your rules to live by? Hopefully you are working with your own very own workbook. Again, these aren't very expensive, and I encourage you to go pick yours up, or if you're mentoring other students, you can use this to mentor other students, or if you are somebody that wants to do this over and over again. I actually got a letter in the mail today from somebody who's gone through this. His name is David, and he actually kind of gave me a really great review on the book. And he's an older gentleman, and he was like, the more and more that I've gotten into this book, the more and more I've seen that you have been wise about this and pulling people back to their families earlier on in their career and trying to set their career up on purpose, for a purpose, to be able to serve their family, but also to be able to serve a greater purpose and to have a greater purpose on this earth. So I was really proud of that. But basically, let's get into it. Chapter number 3. What are your rules to live by? I think this is something that we ought to have. I mean, so I guess there's kind of a backstory that kind of began in this chapter, and it all stemmed from a conversation I had in Miami with a billionaire. And actually had met 2 different billionaires at this particular event. And when you're in real estate and when you're traveling, you meet a lot of millionaires, a lot of very wealthy people, a lot of billionaires. But you don't meet a lot of people that are 3rd or 4th generation wealthy. You meet a lot of entrepreneurs, people that are out there slaying the dragon, that are working hard, that are making, maybe a lot of money and having a lot of risk because real estate has a lot of risk. But you don't see a lot of 3rd or 4th generation wealthy people. And in this particular meeting, I saw 2 people that were 4th generation billionaire families. And, I asked them, hey, what is the key? Because, you always hear that the wealth is always made in the 1st generation. The 2nd generation typically can hold on to it. And by the 3rd generation, it starts to decrease rapidly, very fast, because the 2nd generation kind of grew up a little bit spoiled, but they knew they had to work because they saw mom and dad work. And then by the 3rd generation, there's no teaching and there's no training that gets transpired. And one of the biggest things that didn't happen was a set of core values, a set of family guiding principles that said, hey, this is what got us this wealth, and this is what's going to continue for our family to be known as the right type of family, and hard work has to go into that, and dedication has to go into that, and whatever it is that family wanted to be made of. And both of these 4th generation billionaires both said that they had a family tree in which their great-great-grandfather had written down his story, number 1, and then had written down what he believed were the most important guiding principles or core values. I'm really good friends with Jeffrey Taylor, Mr. Landlord, and he calls them, your principles to live by. Whatever it is that you want to call them, I encourage you to write them down. And don't just write down, like I go to the businesses all the time, and integrity is one of those that everybody thinks they have to have as one of their core values. And I think it's important. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. But what's more important is to define what integrity really means and to give examples of what that really means. So I'm just going to give you some examples of mine. So in my business, for good success, I believe my number 1 core value for good success is charity. And again, I have to define charity. So I've got a piece of paper here, and I'm actually going to read this to you today. And this has taken years to kind of refine, and we've written down 5 different we believe statements, after charity, and then we've actually written down, for us, what are our non-negotiables, things we're not going to put up with. So for instance, let me just read the statement to you. So charity means, for me, the word charity means love. It doesn't necessarily mean giving. It's more of a way of living, okay? So just so you kind of understand the context of what charity means to me. The word charity is something that I believe comes from Scripture, and it actually means, in my opinion, I think we should lead with love. We should lead with charity. And everything that we do, that ought to be the number one focus on our mind, is love. And I believe we can all have a greater purpose if we're always constantly thinking about loving other people and having charity towards one another instead of just thinking about ourselves. So charity, we believe that we actively serve the needs and desires of others. We give selflessly of our time, talents, and treasure. We work to have to give. We believe charity is so much more than giving. It's a way of living. We believe that people that tend to use other people just to get what they want, or people who tend to make it all about them, or people who are conditional participants in charity may not fit here in our organization. So did you see how we did that? We had the statement, charity is our number one thing. We want to lead with love. We believe, and then we kind of put these we believe statements, next to it. And then after that, we actually wrote down, these are the type of people that we're not going to put up with. This is the type of activity that we're not going to put up with. And I have a lot more that I could go over, but I'm not going to go over all that in this little training. So our next one is stewardship. Stewardship, we are faithful in the little things. So we believe stewardship is not just about having a budget and not just about, making sure that you're a good steward of your money, but we believe it's being faithful in the little things. We believe that if you steal a pen, you steal a pen. We believe that if you don't show up on time and you're billing for that hour as an employee, that you are actually stealing from your boss. We believe that if we're not honest and we're not faithful in the little things, and we're not a good steward. We believe that being a steward, it means we can't be an owner. Everything that we've been given has been entrusted to us. We believe that we want to manage our responsibilities the way the owner would prefer. A steward means that somebody else is the owner and you're stewarding for that person. We believe that whatever we've been given, we are here to be investors of that. We don't just want to hide that talent. We don't just want to hide that treasure. We don't just want to hide our time, but we want to actually double it. We want to be more effective. We want to have more impact with whatever it is that we've been given. And in my opinion, that's what a true picture of a steward is somebody who doesn't just take something that's been given to them and then just give it back and keep it safe. That's not a good steward. That's a vault. That's a bank. That's the Bible calls that a lazy servant, actually, is to just bury your talent or just bury what you've been given. I believe a good steward is actually double what you've been given and then be willing to give it back to your network or give it back to the people that you feel like you were placed on this earth for. So that means that people who tend to waste time or resources, or people that tend to pass the buck or choose convenience over doing what's right, or people who tend to bury their talents and not try to grow and get better, may not fit in here. So that's our non-negotiable. I'll just read the other two real quick for you, and then I'll kind of get back to the workbook. But community, we are the change that we want to see. To my opinion, you've heard the statement, be a conduit, not a bucket, right? It's even on my shirt, be a conduit, not a bucket. But in my opinion, being the conduit, what flows through our conduit is love, is charity. The conduit itself is being a good steward. That's what's being a good steward of what we've been given. And our communities is who we're connected to. It's who we're serving on the front end and who we're giving to on the back end. That's what the community is. So we believe that we are the change that we want to see in the community. We can't just expect other people to do things that we're not willing to do first. We make it all about the people. We believe that if you have the core value of community, then you will show up on time and you will participate when you're called on. So you're more interested in making sure that you're an encouragement to the people that you're there with and for, than to just kind of like put your hands on your sleeves and just, my name is Jimmy, I'll take all you'll give me type of an attitude. So we believe that we are a genuine group of people that support each other's needs by challenging each other to face our fears, but we also want to have fun as well. How good is it to have a community that doesn't have any fun, right? So we want to, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'm a type of person, I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me sometimes to get in the mood of having fun. There's people in my office that's not very hard for them at all, but for me sometimes, like, I'm pretty serious-minded and I need to be encouraged or challenged to, hey, have a little fun, Tom. So that's what we believe community is. That means that people that tend to be unwilling to help others or unwilling to connect with others, or they're the lone wolf, or maybe they're deceptive, or maybe they lie to other people, they may not fit here. Our fourth core value, which I kind of think encompasses all of the core values to a certain degree, because it's growth. And when I think about growth, I want to grow in charity. I want to be able to have more so I can give more. I want to grow in stewardship. I don't just want to double what I have, but I want to double it again once I've been given that second chance to be able to double that and multiply my time and my talents and my treasures. In growth, I want to expand my community. I want to be able to serve more people on the front end and have a bigger business that can serve the community and add value. But I also want to be able to give back more from the money that I make, or from the time that I've been able to be given on this earth, or the resources or the skills that I've been given. So that means we are always striving to become better every single day. We believe that if you're not growing, you're dying. We believe when we fail, we're going to fail. And we want to fail forward, though, when we fail. So that means that people who tend to know it all. If you're a know-it-all, guess what? You're not going to grow because you already know it all. You don't need to grow, right? So that means that people that know it all, or are reactive instead of proactive, or unproductive. If you're just simply unproductive, you might not fit in our culture. And that's really this paper. Writing it down on paper gives a whole new reality to it. It's something you can go back to over and over and over and over again. So if you want to go here to page 35, and it actually says, hey, write down what you think those are. You can write those words. You can just kind of write statements, whatever it is in your business. And I really encourage you to go back and do this in your home and do this for yourself personally as well. If you go to my own personal home, something that I wanted to create in my own home was, hey, the Olsons have this. This is what the Olsons stand for. And we call it our family rules. So you can call it your family rules, guiding principles, core values, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. But for us, we did this when our kids were really little. And we said, are our kids really going to understand core values? And we thought, no. So we said, hey, let's make them family rules. Most kids understand the word rule. So we thought, hey, we're going to make family rules. And we only had 4 family rules. And then our kids actually came along and added a 5th, which I love it. But our number 1 family rule is be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another. And where do you think that lies in our business? Charity. If you have charity and if you're thinking about others and you're caring about others, what do you think that is? Be ye kind one to another. So, and again, that's the number 1 core value that we have in our business. It's our number 1 core value we have in our home. Number 2 is children, obey your parents. And to me, that's about authority. And to me, that's about understanding that everybody has authority, whether you like it or not, and you've all been given that authority. And if you disobey that authority, you're actually disobeying God. So children, obey your parents is rule number 2. And rule number 3 is no whining allowed. That's about being an encouragement. Instead of whining, nobody wants a whiner. So encouraging other people and supporting the family makeup, that's what that rule is all about. And you think about it, that's kind of like community on our core values for our business. And then rule number 4 was tell the truth. Simply tell the truth. It's kind of hard sometimes for kids. I don't know why. It's like the easiest thing sometimes. Kids say the darndest things. They really do give a practical way of thinking about things sometimes. But we always, as they get older, now we have teenage kids, telling the truth is something we've got to be careful and mindful of, to remind them of that over and over and over again. And when my second oldest daughter was 6, she's 11 now. But when she was 6, she said, hey, we should add a family rule and say give gifts. And we said, you know what, Edie, that's a great idea. So we added giving gifts as our 5th core value for our family. And we've actually sat down on vacations and gone through them all and said, hey, what does this mean? We've actually written down we believe statements. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to write those down. On 35, I've given you my examples of what I think and kind of the backstory about why I think the way I think. And I'm not asking you to use my core values, although I think charity is a great core value and stewardship's a great core value, and community. I think these are, if I had to pick people and they were the perfect people for my business, these are the type of people that I would want in my business. They're also the perfect type of person that I'd want to hang around and support and challenge and be there for. And this is what we even tell our mastermind members. We even give core value awards out at our Christmas party at our company, and we also give core value awards out at our Good Success Mastermind. So the belief backstory, the I believe statements underneath what you say your core values are. And remember, these I believe statements are way more important than just the words that you put up here. And then kind of go through and explain yourself. If there's more explanation, if there's a backstory behind it. And then lastly, which I think is very important to do, is your non-negotiables. What are the activities that are opposite? They're directly, diabolically opposed to your core values that you will not tolerate and you will not put up with. Writing all those things on paper and then explaining and reviewing those with your family, with your spouse, with your friends, and with your company, I think is a massive transformation that you can have. In your business, you should hire and you should fire and you should reward based on these core values. Your reviews should have the core values in them. Your family should be reminded of them over and over again. I promise you, my kids know what our 5 rules are because we hear all the time, what's rule number 1? If the kids are bickering in the car or if they're not getting along with somebody, what's rule number 1? And then, if somebody doesn't quite tell the truth, hey, we don't lie in this family. We tell the truth. And if somebody's whining, guess what? Hey, we're in place on this earth to have community and to encourage each other, not to whine. And that doesn't lift up anybody's spirits. And nobody wants a whiner around you. So think about those things. I hope this helps you today. And I know that this book's going to get more difficult. This is actually kind of a difficult exercise, but it's something that most people get excited about. And once you've actually put pen to paper and actually written down these things, a lot of life becomes very clear. You understand relationships that you shouldn't be hanging around anymore. It's easier to let go of people in your business that don't fit these core values, and it's easier to recognize people that should be in your business or should be in your community. I hope this helps you with chapter number 3 of what are your guiding principles of the 30-day journey to good success, and I will see you back here tomorrow for day number 4. Have a good day.